Are you feeling overwhelmed by the emotional chaos that a narcissist has brought into your life? Have you been stuck in a cycle of manipulation and self-doubt where nothing you do seems to be enough? Do you feel like no matter how much you try or how much you give, it always feels like you are falling short or losing yourself along the way? If you can relate to any of this, you are not alone, and there is a way out of this emotional storm. I know firsthand how deeply narcissism can affect your life. It creeps into every interaction, it twists the truth and leaves you questioning your own sanity. It isolates you from others and makes you feel as though you are constantly walking on eggshells, unable to speak your truth or protect your peace. You might be facing a relationship with a narcissist at work, in your family, or with a partner, and it can feel like there is no escape, no way out of this never-ending cycle of manipulation. But I want you to know that this doesn't have to be the life you live. Forever there is a higher power at work, and God has a way of dealing with narcissists that brings both justice and healing into your life. You don't have to walk this journey alone, and through the wisdom of divine intervention, there are things that God always does to narcissists that offer you peace and clarity about your next steps. Today we are going to talk about 5 powerful things that God always does to narcissists. These truths are not just theological ideas, they are real and practical. Ways that you can begin to understand how God interacts with those who try to dominate, manipulate, and control others. The more you understand these truths, the more empowered you will feel to rise above the influence of narcissism in your own life. These truths will help you see that narcissists do not have the ultimate control over your life, no matter how they may try to convince you otherwise. These truths will show you that God sees your pain and is actively working to protect you and guide you toward healing. Let me start by being clear about one thing. Narcissism is toxic. It is a force that erodes your self-worth, it distorts your perception of reality, and it isolates you from the very love and support that you deserve. Narcissistic behavior can be devastating. It can make you feel as though you are never enough. It can make you feel worthless, insignificant, or as though you are the problem when in reality you are not. The truth is, narcissism is a reflection of deep-seated insecurity and lack of empathy, not of your own worth or value. You are worthy of love, kindness, and respect, and though a narcissist may try to make you believe otherwise, it is time for you to see the truth clearly and begin to reclaim your power. The first thing that God does with narcissists is this: He exposes their true nature. God has a way of revealing the truth about narcissists. He shines a light on the darkness of their hearts. He allows the hidden motives to come to the surface so that everyone can see who they really are. This might be hard to see at first, especially if you have been under the control of a narcissist for a long time, but this truth will bring you so much freedom when you begin to see a narcissist for who they truly are. The power they have over you starts to fade. You start to realize that all of their manipulation, their charm, their facade is just that, a facade. It is a lie meant to keep you trapped in their web of deceit and control. Once you begin to see the truth about them, it is no longer possible for them to pull the wool over your eyes. Let me tell you a story that illustrates this. When I was younger, I was in a relationship with someone who displayed all the traits of a narcissist. At first, everything seemed perfect. They were charming, they were loving, they made me feel special, but over time the cracks started to show. I began to see the manipulation, the gaslighting, the lack of empathy, the way they always needed to be right, and how they would twist the truth to make themselves look better. The more I resisted, the more they pushed back, until it felt like I was losing myself completely. But through prayer and seeking guidance from God, I began to see the truth. The facade began to fall apart, and the reality of their behavior became undeniable. I started to see them for who they truly were, and that was the moment my freedom began. The power they had over me started to weaken, and I began to take steps to protect my peace. And just like that, when God exposes the true nature of a narcissist, it releases you from their hold. You stop being fooled by their lies and start seeing the situation with clarity. God's light on the darkness brings the truth to the surface, and once you have the truth, you have the power to move forward. The second thing that God does to narcissists is this: He holds them accountable for their actions. God sees everything. He knows the motives behind every action, every word, every manipulation. He knows the damage that narcissists cause in the lives of those around them, and God does not turn a blind eye to this. He will bring justice in His own time. Sometimes it may feel like the narcissist is getting away with everything. Their lies and manipulation seem to go unnoticed, but know that God sees it all. He does not forget. He knows the pain they have caused. He knows the hurt they have inflicted, and He will hold them accountable. This doesn't mean that you need to focus on getting revenge or taking matters into your own hands. That's not your job. God's justice will come in the way He deems fit. Trust that He will bring the appropriate consequences to those who try to harm you and others for their own gain. Your job is to protect yourself, set your boundaries, and allow God to take care of the rest. When you trust God to bring justice, you free yourself from the weight of trying to fix everything on your own. You can rest knowing that God's justice is always fair, and He will make sure that narcissists cannot escape the consequences of their actions. The third thing God does to narcissists is that He exposes their pride. Narcissism is rooted in pride, the need to be superior to others, the belief that they are entitled to admiration and respect while giving none in return. But God has a way of humbling the proud and bringing them low. He resists the proud but gives grace to the humble. This is why it is so important for you to remain humble and grounded in your own worth. When you stay humble and focused on your own growth, narcissists will start to see their own pride exposed, and this will be a painful process for them, because pride is the very thing that holds them together. When that pride is stripped away, they will face the harsh reality of their own emptiness. God doesn't allow narcissists to continue thriving on their pride forever. Eventually they will come to a point where their false sense of superiority is shattered. This might take time, but know that God will make a way for them to see their own shortcomings and their need for change. This is not something that you need to orchestrate. God will handle the timing and the manner in which this happens. Your role is to keep focusing on your healing, your growth, and your relationship with God as you rise above their influence. The fourth thing that God does with narcissists is that He protects you from their destructive influence. God does not leave you unprotected in the midst of a narcissistic relationship. When you seek His guidance and lean on His strength, He will protect your heart and your mind. He will shield you from the worst of their manipulations and help you stay grounded in the truth. He will help you discern when to speak and when to stay silent. He will help you know when to walk away and when to stand firm. God will give you the wisdom to navigate the complexities of dealing with narcissists in a way that honors your peace and your well-being. Through prayer and discernment, God will help you recognize the subtle ways that narcissists try to manipulate you. He will give you the courage to set boundaries and the strength to enforce them. He will protect you from the emotional damage that narcissists so often cause and help you rebuild your sense of self-worth. The fifth and final thing that God does to narcissists is that He offers them a chance to repent and change. Now you might be thinking, that sounds impossible. Narcissists are so entrenched in their behavior, how could they ever change? But the truth is, God is in the business of redemption and transformation. There is no heart so hard that it cannot be softened by God's love and grace. There is no life so broken that it cannot be restored by His power. Narcissists may not seem like they are capable of change, but that doesn't mean they can't be transformed by the love of God. The key here is not to try to change them yourself, but to trust that God has the power to do so if they choose to repent and turn their hearts toward God. That is between them and God, but your role is to keep focusing on your own healing and growth. You might never see the full transformation of a narcissist, but you can take comfort in knowing that God is always working in their lives just as He is working in yours. Trust that His will is perfect and that even in the face of narcissism, He can bring about healing and restoration. So how do we apply this in our own lives? How do we use these truths to reclaim our peace and move forward? There are a few key steps. First, recognize that you are worthy of love and respect no matter what the narcissist has made you believe. Set boundaries that protect your emotional and mental health. Lean on God for strength and guidance, and trust that His justice will come in His timing. Don't try to change the narcissist yourself, but focus on your own healing and growth through God's love and grace. It's time to take your life back. It's time to stop being manipulated and controlled by the toxic behavior of narcissists. It's time to start living a life where you are valued, loved, and at peace. Trust in God's power to expose their true nature. Hold them accountable, humble their pride, protect your heart, and offer them the chance to change while you focus on healing and becoming the best version of yourself. You have the strength, you have the courage, and you have the love of God behind you. Now take a step toward healing today and trust that you are never alone in this journey.